How to avoid delays on construction projects. That's the topic we're covering today. You'll want to stay with us. By the end of this video, you'll understand how devastating construction delays can be and how we can mitigate and prevent them from ever happening. I'm going to tell you why most construction delays are preventable, what key things you should start early on in order to make this work and to create flow in your project, and the 5 ways that you can really make work ready and really prevent those delays. So this is really cool content. I invite you to stay with me, and by the end of this video, you will know how to prevent delays in construction. All right, so first of all, what is a construction delay? All right, it's anything that stops your work, right? Anything. It could be material procurement, it could be a lack of information, it could be something along the supply chain. Whatever it is, it stops your work. There's a really cool book by Nicholas Modig that's titled This is Lean. And he talks about the interruption of a duration, a project duration, the throughput of a manufacturing facility, whatever it is. And what really affects that cycle, the throughput, the start to the end, are delays. So stops and restarts, stops and restarts. Anytime you got to stop, that's going to be a big problem, because not only is it going to impact the work, not only do you have workers back here that are waiting, not only are you losing money, but it takes so much to get that flywheel back going, get that work back going, that it's really detrimental to the project. It costs money and it really hurts the morale of the team. So a delay, in my definition, and this is some good stuff right here, so you might want to write this down. My definition of a delay is anything that stops and restarts the project that could have been prevented, okay? Now I'm going to give you another definition, an inevitable delay. That's something that will stop and restart your project that you didn't have control of. And so I'm talking about today, what are the things that you have control of? What are the things that you can prevent from delaying your project? And most of those things we can see. Not all of them, but most of them we can see. So in this video, I'm not here to tell you how I can prevent a hurricane or an act of God or some random war or something that's out of our control, right? Acts of God, those really aren't delays. That we call those acts of God. Like those are force majeure type scenarios. I'm talking about real construction delays that we can prevent. And I think we would all be surprised at how many of those we actually can prevent. So that's what I'm talking about when I say a delay in construction. So here's the problem. Most delays in construction are preventable. They are preventable, but we usually get into one or two mindsets. One is, construction is chaotic and they're going to happen. So we loop the preventable delays in with the non-preventable delays, and we kind of give up and get this learned hopelessness, right? So that's one. So that's more of a mindset type scenario. But the other one is when looking at where work is going to be, we don't look out ahead far enough, and we're not looking into the future. And if you've ever seen one of my other videos about the role of a superintendent or a project manager in construction, you'll know that I talk about, hey, the role of a construction superintendent is to see the future and prevent those delays with those trade partners in a collaborative environment. So either we don't think we can prevent them, or we think we can prevent them, but we're not looking for them. Here's a really good nugget. If you want some wisdom, you want to throw down some wisdom on your people, write this down. Problems are not a problem. That's it. Problems are just not a problem. It's not a thing. The only problem is when we think we don't have problems, because then we don't fix them. So if we can elevate, just get all of the problems up to the surface, then we can see them, then we can prevent them, then we can remove them. So let me give you 2 definitions in my playbook: constraints and roadblocks. Okay? Constraints are things that are permanent that you must work around. You're not going to work through them or remove them. You're just stuck with it, right? So if I'm building a construction project next to a railroad or next to an adjacent building, or there's certain weather that happens in that region, those are constraints. I'm just stuck with it. I'm going to have to build around these constraints. You're constrained to it, right? You're constrained to it. Roadblocks are things that are removable that you should see, and I say the word should see if you can out in the future, so you can identify them and take steps to actually remove and prevent those from happening. So that's a roadblock. So there's constraints, permanent, you have to work around them. Roadblocks, they're preventable, and you're going to want to remove them out of the way. Now, here's a little funny thing. Some people are going to say Jason's wrong, but I'm just going to say liar, liar, pants on fire, like I'm right. My definitions are right. And I'm asking everybody, please change your definitions. Stop using constraints as roadblocks. That's not what the word means. It means things that we have to work around. And anytime we're talking about something that could delay your job, talk about them like they're roadblocks, right? So anything that's going to delay your project or that could stop it, just like a train coming down the tracks, that's a roadblock. So let's get it off the tracks so that train never stops. And so here's why you're going to want to keep your eye focused on roadblocks. Not only the identification and elevation, meaning bringing them out into the sunlight, and the focus on mitigating them, it's because it's a leading indicator system. You can track all kinds of things on your construction project and they're fine. Like these metrics are fine. Like let's take percent plan complete in the last planner system. What you do is you say, here are the activities that we committed to. Here's how many we got done. We divide the got done into the overall. It gives you a percentage. You're targeting above 80%, right? It tells you how well did you do the work. And that's a lagging indicator. That's an after the fact indicator. So yes, you can learn from that and you should be doing root causes and learn from that, but it's not really a leading indicator system. A leading indicator system is, here's where the work's going to happen. Okay, these are the roadblocks we're seeing out ahead. How many of them are we identifying? How far out ahead? And are we getting them removed before we actually hit that construction date? It's a leading indicator system. So one of the best things you can do to prevent delays on your construction project is to have a remarkable roadblock removal system, and then the team is just fanatic. Every day I come in, if I'm a project manager or PX, I walk in, open the door, I'm like, all right, where's my roadblock tracking maps? Where's my list? I'm gonna get me some roadblocks today. I am fanatic, like addicted, like crazy about removing those on a daily basis. When the team is addicted to it like that, you are going to have an amazing project that prevents delays. All right, so I'm going to talk to you about some of the key ways that you can prevent delays in the latter part of this video. We're almost there, but I do want to say that some of these topics like roadblock removal, procurement, how to have a really visual system, these videos are coming later in this channel or are linked to some of our other YouTube channels. So I'm asking, if you want those videos and that content, will you please subscribe? The other thing is it allows us to reach more people. Like I said in one of the other videos, we only got about 10 million more people to go to get this information to. So if you subscribe, share that information, like, comment, we want to hear from you, but also we want to get this message out so that we can elevate this wonderful industry that's taking care of you and me. Please subscribe. That's my challenge for you before I go into the rest of the content. All right, so now I'm going to cover some specifics here. You want hard data? We got it for you right now. What are some specific ways that you can really prevent delays in construction? Number one, procurement. Let me tell you a story. I fly around the world and people always tell me, hey Jason, I don't have my materials, I have a delay. And I'm being sensitive about this because I'm sensitive about COVID-19. They say COVID-19 interruptions to the supply chain have interrupted these materials, or the supply chain itself, or a material shortage or something else, or a country being shut down, their infrastructure and their logistics systems being shut down, or there's a boat stuck in a canal, right? These are real things, right? But when I come to these project sites, they're like, hey Jason, I can't because of this, because of this, because of this, COVID-19, this, that. And then I'm like, okay, I agree. Show me. Like, I want to see it. Let's do it. Let's start to manage it. Let's look at your procurement log or your schedule. And they're like, well, I don't have one of those. What? No, I trust my trade partners to do that. I don't have a procurement log. Yeah, well, I don't do that. And I'm like, right. Like, so you're saying that this was a delay, but you're not tracking it, and it's not in your schedule. Now, if this is you, don't be mad at me because I'm just teasing you a little bit. It's not a big deal. Don't be mad. But they're like, it's not on a log and it's not on the schedule. So I'm like, how would we know what it was? Like, it sounds a lot like we're just blaming it on everything on supply chain issues. Like, procurement's such a big deal. We need to be managing it. So here are some myths and truths. It is not your trade partner's sole responsibility to get the materials here. It's yours as the general contractor. Here's another one. Everything isn't just a supply chain or COVID-19 interruption. COVID-19 was real, but not all of the proclaimed interruptions are real, right? The truth is that most of the procurement mess that we're in construction is self-inflicted, right? We're giving vendors non-real, unrealistic, too early orders that are batched together. We're lying to our vendors and we're telling our owners that everything is the fault of the supply chain. When really the root cause is we don't have a procurement log or a schedule. So here I'm going to help you to overcome it. So you're like, okay, Jason, I get the teasing. I love you. Like, what do we do now? If you hear about a project coming, you're going to go interview. You should go down here to your computer, type. Hey, let's start a procurement log right now. And somebody would say to you, well, hold on a minute. We're going to interview the job. We don't have it yet. What are you doing? Like, nope, I'm doing a procurement log day one. What kind of building is it? It's a hospital? All right, here's the things that I think we need to start to order tomorrow. People will think you're crazy, but you need to do it. 100%. Procurement right out of the gate. Most of the problem that we have is we start managing procurement, we start ordering materials way too late in the pre-construction process, way too late in design, and then we're surprised when it doesn't come late. I've never seen a job ever in my life, even before 2020, that didn't require starting the elevators, the exterior skin, and long lead items, at least in the design development phase. Never, ever. And people will make fun of me. Jason, we can't do that early. Yes, you can. Early release, early financial release, transparency with the owner to tell them the effects if they don't do it, right? You can at least start materials, the material procurement from the submittal standpoint. You can do a number of things. So really get after it and do anything you can to start that long lead procurement cycle. That's one of the main things that you can do to prevent delays in construction. The other thing, honestly, is just to have a really killer quality process. And actually, I can link you to some graphics and some manuals that will explain to you how to do this procurement and will explain to you how to do the quality system. And so on your project, the question I have is, when you get somebody contracted, is there a system to explain to them what you want? Is there a system to schedule meetings for a pre-construction meeting to then educate and align the foreman and the superintendent so that they can go build it right? The reason I'm asking is because if you want to prevent delays in construction, install it right the first time. It was hard enough, like I just said, to get the materials here in the first place. Let's not install it wrong, rip it out, and order them again. Like, let's make sure we have beautifully clear expectations on what the owner wants, how it's supposed to be installed, and then let's make sure everyone installing it knows those by memory or on a visual. That is the key. If you want to prevent delays in construction, install it right the first time. It can take up to 2 to 12 times the amount of money and time to fix something versus just doing it right the first time. One more. Make ready look ahead planning. In some other videos, which I hope you're watching, by the way, please subscribe to the channel. In some of the other videos, I talk about making work ready. Making work ready is so crucial. The superintendent and PM and the foreman in a collaborative environment should see that next 6 weeks, right? All of the activities and ask, do I have the manpower, the materials, the information, the layout, the equipment? Do I have everything that I need there, right? So those 5 things that I just mentioned, right? Manpower, materials, information, equipment, right? And make sure that you have all the needed permissions. If you ask yourself those questions, do I have these key things for every activity that I have planned in the next 6 weeks? You can identify roadblocks, because if you have it, we're good, thumbs up. If you don't, that immediately goes onto our roadblock tracking system so that we can make sure that we mitigate that, we get rid of that roadblock before it ever happens, right? Being able to see that next 6 weeks out ahead, visually, you and your PM with the foreman in an engaged environment is key to preventing delays. So procurement, quality, look ahead schedules, that's how you get rid of roadblocks and prevent delays. I have some really cool graphics, free downloads for you at the end of this video. So please make sure that you go grab those, use them, print them, make sure you make it a part of your daily work, teach it to your team, and really get a hold on preventing delays so they don't stop you in your tracks. And remember, the link's in the description. Love you.